This is breaking news.
The New Jersey chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations is holding a press conference after the state's longest-serving Muslim mayor was banned from attending the White House Eid al-Fitr celebration. Mayor Mohamed Khairullah says moments before he arrived, the Secret Service told him he was not cleared for entry. Let's go to that briefing now.
About the Muslim community and the mayor himself. He's very humble, so I'll take the opportunity to, give him the limelight and let the reporters and those know who he is and why this moment is so important to the Muslim community. The mayor is humble and is a true grassroots leader. He is well known across the state of New Jersey within the Muslim and non-Muslim community. He has advocated for marginalized communities. He has advocated for the Muslim community, and he's been in office for about 17 years now. Is that correct? As mayor, consecutively. And we believe that he is the longest serving Muslim mayor in the state of New Jersey, and it is likely the case that he is also nationally the longest serving Muslim elected official currently serving. We take great pride in our leadership, and we also, it's worth noting that New Jersey has the most Muslims in elected office than any other state in the nation, approximately 50 Muslims in office. The mayor is one of them. New Jersey has about 3.5% of the population being Muslim. That is the most per capita than any other state in the nation. So we have a very dense population. Again, the most dense than any other state. The community is very diverse, comprising of Arab, South Asian, African, African American, convert, etc. New Jersey is arguably one of the most diverse nations with one of the most diverse Muslim communities. This incident today is an opportunity to shine light on what is known as the watch list. A little bit of history, just a quick brief history. We'll go into more details later. But the watch list is a post-9/11 tool that came from the Bush administration in 2003. 2 decades after 9/11, we continue to see the harm of the watch list. We continue to see how it causes difficulties for American Muslims and Americans at large, infringing on their civil rights. The watch list, it's important to note, it has not gotten smaller. It has not collected dust on a shelf. In fact, it is getting larger, and it continues to cause harm. And yesterday's incident is the latest incident showcasing the continued reality of the watch list. The watch list continued to expand both under the Obama and the Trump administration, and today is an opportunity for the nation, for the government, to consider an opportunity to disband the watch list once and for all. It has caused issues for Muslim Americans during their travel overseas and returning back to America. It has caused issues because the FBI uses it for their spying. And it has caused issues, of course, in other incidences like with the Secret Service. The FBI distributes the watch list to government agencies, and that is the issue at hand. The fact that the watch list is a tool used by government agencies to vet the American public, and what we know when it was leaked in 2019, CAIR National analyzed the list, the third party, and that third party was able to show that the watch list is comprised of primarily Arab and Muslim names. It is clearly a discriminatory list. It is a list that targets the American Muslim community, and it continues to be used against the Muslim community 2 decades after 9/11. And this is the issue at hand. And that we continue to see the harm is the problem, and we are asking, and this is the ask, I'll wrap up with this, we are asking that the White House take this as an opportunity to once and for all disband the watch list, to no longer have government agencies use this discriminatory list in their vetting or in their spying of American citizens. I will leave it at that. We have a few speakers that I will invite up, and then, inshallah, we will have questions towards the end. So first, I would like to invite up our attorney at CAIR, New Jersey, Aya Zaki, to offer a few words for comment. Aya is right here.
Thank you. All right, so folks know it's no secret that these watch lists exist, but for some reason the government refuses to acknowledge or confirm their existence. Our community knows far too well, because of the harassment and the consequences of being on these watch lists, and the effects that it has had on each of us as individuals and our most notable leaders, such as Mayor Khairullah, that these watch lists do in fact exist. And the smoking gun does lead back to an existing watch list. The use of these due process-free practices, like the watch list, are not without irreparable consequences that, again, we know far too well. Being placed on a government watch list without knowing why, how, or what got you there in the first place, or what to do about it, this bleeds into our everyday lives as Muslim American in our communities, and it could look as innocuous as being questioned further, or it could lead to downright harassment or detention by authorities, or an indefinite ban on air travel. It has historically been used as an extrajudicial abuse of power and coercion onto the Muslim community and in the United States, and it's now shamefully being wielded against one of our most tenured and respectable leaders, Mayor Khairullah, with absolutely no oversight by any other agency. The government has adamantly refused to disclose what standards they use to place people on this watch list, and denies the existence of these watch lists altogether, denies watch listed individuals any meaningful way to correct errors or clear their names, and when a person is removed from these watch lists, deprives them of an opportunity, a day in court, or an explanation to why they're on this watch list in the first place. In simple terms, it is punishment without due process, and that goes against the basic tenets of our nation. And to be clear, these extrajudicial practices used by law enforcement agencies like the FBI and now like the Secret Service has zero oversight and has been ruled unconstitutional by federal courts. It has long been ruled that watch listing processes that are promulgated and executed by law enforcement agencies is illegal, is a violation of the Fifth Amendment, and the reason for its illegality is not entirely related just to the process, but evidently because of any lack of existing procedures or safeguards to ensure the names on there should be there in the first place. It is vital that if the government blacklists people, the standards it uses are approximately narrow, and they are used, the information it relies on is accurate and credible, and the manner in which watch lists are used is consistent with the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, and the right to a hearing before a punishment, legal principles older than the nation itself. Yet the government fails these basic tests of fairness. What happened to Mayor Khairullah, while arbitrary and an absolute abuse of power, is not wholly unexpected. Although the government itself denies the existence of a list, data leaks have both confirmed its existence and unshockingly confirmed that the overwhelming majority of people on that list are Muslim. And for people who have committed crime, does anyone have any doubt that the FBI can properly investigate further and convict that person? There is no evidence that the watch list has in any way prevented terrorism or terrorist attacks from happening. Standard law enforcement agencies use, and now even the Secret Service, don't require the government to believe that the person is actually doing something criminal. This is exactly how we have seen the watch list in practice. It's what we call contagious practice, because not only is the person on the watch list suffering the consequences of being on the watch list, but their families and any association with other people are people who also suffer the consequences. And this unfettered abuse of power needs to stop imminently. This is precisely what Mayor Khairullah is demanding and what we are all determined to achieve. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aya. Okay, so we also have the mayor, obviously, he will be speaking. I just wanted to also note that we have a few of our partner organizations where I want to shout out NJIAJ. Amy is here as well. I know Amy will be speaking shortly after the mayor. And then we have Zahra Miyan from the New Jersey Muslim Lawyer Association. We might have Sheikh Katanani from ICPC and a few others, so they will be speaking shortly after the mayor. And just want to give them a heads up. Now we'll have the mayor come and kind of recount the incident. It's also worth noting that the mayor, not the first time, he has run into issues like this before. In 2019, he was working with CAIR New York because his cell phone was taken by TSA at JFK from his, upon returning from his travels overseas. So again, it's the watch list strikes again with the Secret Service incident yesterday. So without further ado, I will have the mayor come off the remarks. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Assalamu alaikum. I want to thank CAIR New Jersey and CAIR National for responding to my calls quickly when the incident happened. You know, I have no reason to believe that I am an unsafe person to any elected official. I have been around with a lot of elected officials from national level all the way to school board level, and I have supported many of them. So I want to thank CAIR, whether the national stage or the New Jersey stage, for responding quickly to what we think now is the utilization of the secret list that targets primarily Muslim and Arabs. I'll recount what happened, make other remarks, and then we'll go based on how CAIR wants to run the program. But I also want to thank everybody who made it, organizations and officials. So yesterday at 12:11 p.m., as I was driving into D.C., I was about a few minutes away from the White House. I received a call from a gentleman by the name of Evans from the White House social office. We started by small talk. Then he informed me that the Secret Service did not clear me to attend the White House Eid celebration. He went on to state that the Secret Service did not provide a reason, and he pretty much told me that I should turn around and return home in uncertain terms. He informed me that the number he was calling from was his cell phone, and that if I had any further questions that I could forward them. So I asked him, who do I forward them to? He stated that I can call him, but he doesn't have any further information. Such inconveniences and harassments are not uncommon to me. In 2019, I was held and interrogated at JFK Airport for 3 hours. I also had my phone taken away and searched through at the time. There was no explanation given at that time. This happened multiple times between 2019 and 2021 when I was returning from Canada by land, where I was held up in a glass holding area for my children to watch me and ask, why can't we be with you? A few hours later, I was released and told that they think that they have fixed my problem, only to now be faced with the same issue. When I first ran for office in 2001, just 1 year after I became a naturalized citizen, I was hopeful that I could help implement systematic changes within New Jersey and that would make life better for American Muslims and everyday American. And when I have been able to see this come to fruition for the most part, incidents like this being flagged on a watch list and denied the honor that every leader should be given make me question our progress. The heart of our issue today is not the disinvitation of Mohamed Khairullah, who happens to be me and who is listed on the selectee list with my birth date. Our core issue today is that there is a secret list. that everyone knows it exists due to the January 26th leak, but our government continues to use it despite it being discriminatory and ruled illegal by a federal judge. I want to thank all those who have contacted me by email or through social media expressing support. I want to thank Governor Murphy. We had a chat last night. We have here the director of his Intergovernmental Affairs Office, Mr. Rob Field. We also have Senior Aide Raj Bath, and from the governor's office, my friend Asad Akhtar. I want to thank Senator Booker for also reaching out last night, Congressman Pascrell, the office of Senator Menendez, Mayor Bala from Hoboken, Mayor Vergano from Wayne, and Mayor Saya from Patterson, along with other many elected officials and friends. Last night at 7 p.m., our president tweeted the following: Muslim culture has been woven throughout American culture from the very start. We must always stand against anti-Muslim hate and stand up for the right and dignities of all people. It is essential to who we are, a nation founded on the idea of freedom and justice for all. In my opinion, and regardless of the previous theories, this does not seem to be about my activism in Syria. Last time I was inside Syria was December of 2015. The last time I remember traveling without issues is May of 2019. This has inconvenienced, harassed, and humiliated me and my family ever since, every time we went through an airport. But this, again, is about over 1.5 million people who are on the selectee list who don't have a platform like I do. At this point, our crimes are our names, ethnicities, and religion. And I call on President Biden to correct the injustices of the previous administrations by disbanding this illegal list and correcting ill-advised and racist policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay. Thank you, Mayor. And there will be opportunity for questions after everyone has got a chance to speak. I think the Mayor drives the point home at the very end. And if it can happen to him, someone who is highly respected and well known and has held office here in New Jersey for over 17 years, then it can truly happen to anyone. American Muslims, over 1 million of them, have been enduring the repercussions of being on this list for the past 2 decades. And it is time that the current administration bring that harm to an end. So I would like to now bring up Dina Sayed Ahmed, our communications coordinator at CAIR New Jersey, to offer a few remarks before we move on to our partner organizations.
My name is Dina Sayed Ahmed. That's DINASAYED-AHMED, and I'm the communications manager here at CAIR New Jersey, the Council on American Islamic Relations. So as my colleagues have mentioned earlier, in January of this year, a U.S. airline accidentally exposed the no-fly list, which is part of the terrorist screening database, and we learned from that no-fly list actually, that there are over 1.5 million names on that list, the majority of whom have Arab-sounding names and Muslim-sounding names. Here at CAIR in this office, we've also had cases of people who have had difficulty or who've experienced harassment when traveling. In one such case, it's an elderly American Muslim businessman who is a U.S. citizen who frequently is stopped and questioned when entering the U.S. In another case, a student at Al-Azhar University in Egypt is also frequently questioned or stopped when returning to the U.S. These cases don't even count the number of people who don't report such incidents. We do keep count of the incidents that we receive, but again, these numbers are deflated because the vast majority of American Muslims do not report these sort of issues for fear of repercussions. These 2 cases that I talked about and Mayor Khairullah's case are not unique. They have far-reaching consequences, but what's even more glaring is that in these lists, individuals are not given any due process. There is no way for them to dispute their status. There is no way for them to also remedy any damage that occurs. We see reputational damaging happening. We see harassment happening. We see individuals unable to secure jobs. We see all these cases occurring, and there's no actual meaningful way for them to redress these concerns. A bloated and unfair watch list system does not make us more secure, and the ACLU has long called for the disbanding of this watch list, as we are calling for today, and as CAIR has long called for. These lists are saturated. If these lists are to exist, the government should have a very specific and very narrow way of putting individuals on these lists, and they should be able to verify that this individual deserves to be on this list in a very direct and concrete way, which we have not seen happening with this list or with other such no-fly lists and watch lists. I continue to echo what my colleagues have called for, which is disbanding of this watch list and for a meeting with the White House for Mayor Khairullah to discuss this sort of watch list. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dina. I think it's important to note that, at CAIR, obviously, we work to combat Islamophobia. And Islamophobia is a top-down problem in our nation. And as long as the United States government treats Muslims with suspicion and discrimination, so will our neighbors. So it is important that we take these opportunities to disband policies and practices that our government employs to discriminate against its citizens in order to combat Islamophobia across the board. Now, I am very grateful that our partner and our friend at the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice, Amy Torres, is here. She's executive director of the organization and a longtime partner of ours, and I'm happy to have her here for a few remarks. So thank you, Amy.
Good afternoon. My name is Amy Torres with New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice. The Alliance is the state's largest immigration coalition. We bring together over 50 member organizations, many of whom you see here: CAIR, Faith in New Jersey, American Friends Services Committee, and together we fight for policies that empower and protect immigrants. Normally, I start by saying what a pleasure it is to stand alongside CAIR, a leader and a fierce advocate in the fight for immigrant justice, but today is a very painful occasion for being together. The dichotomy today is a stark one. Just hours ago, the governor acknowledged just how important and valued Muslim Americans are in New Jersey by signing into law a designation that would place the entire month of January as a time to reflect and celebrate the contributions and history of Muslims in our state. At this time, particularly for the Muslim community, we should be in celebration. But again, our community is marked by painful and traumatic cases of discrimination. As our colleagues at CAIR shared, these watch lists are not new. This is just another fresh example of the illegality, the lack of transparency, and the pain that these watch lists cause across our communities. If it can happen to someone as high profile as a New Jersey mayor, it can happen, and indeed it has happened to any one of us. These secret lists are not new. We must repeat that over and over again. This week also marks the beginning of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and we must remember that government watch lists were also used to target Japanese Americans for internment. Government watch lists were also used to target civil rights leaders and activists under McCarthyism and the Red Scare. The reason we are here today is that secret watch lists have been leaked time and again to advocates, to watchdogs in media, but our communities and Muslim communities are denied justice by the federal government, who claims that they do not exist, yet continues to use these very same lists to target, track, and deny the civil liberties of Muslim Americans. It is not a crime to be a Muslim in the United States. It is not a crime to practice our faiths. It is not a crime to proudly preserve or claim our cultures, but it is criminal, it is illegal, and it is wrong that 1.5 million Americans are on these watch lists that deny them their rights and due process. We at the Alliance stand in firm solidarity and support of CAIR and our leaders in state and local government who are here with us today to call on the Biden administration to do right by these communities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Amy, to the Alliance. I will now be calling up Zahra Mian, the Media and Communications Director of NJMLA, the New Jersey Muslim Lawyer Association.
Good afternoon. My name is Zahra Mia, and I'm here on behalf of the New Jersey Muslim Lawyers Association. We understand that Mayor Khairullah was prevented from joining the White House Eid event on the basis of a watch list. A watch list maintained by the FBI, known as the Terrorist Screening Database, that targets people based on their identity and should never be used. There is no transparency in the process of adding or removing an individual's name from this list. It's apparent that this list does not require any evidence that the person engaged in criminal activity, committed a crime, or will commit a crime in the future. Such lists are not only invasive, but also unconstitutional. Those who are on the watch list do not know that they are on the watch list, they don't know the reason for being on the watch list, and they have no way of having their name cleared from the watch list. This is a violation of this country's due process requirements, particularly where the list is used to prevent civic engagement and travel, such as what Mayor Khairullah has experienced. Today, we see the profiling that Mayor Khairullah, a public servant who's devoted over 17 years of public service to his community, and many other Arab and or Muslim individuals like him, face across the country without any concrete basis. We call upon the Biden administration to revoke the use of this watch list. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Zahra. I don't think Sheikh Katanani is here. Okay. So I will now be calling up Professor Sahar Aziz from Rutgers University, the founding director of the Center for Security and Race and Rights. Professor.
My name is Sahar Aziz. I'm a professor of law, Chancellor of Social Justice Scholars at Rutgers University Law School, and I'm also the executive director of the Center for Security, Race and Rights, which is the only civil rights center at a U.S. law school that focuses on the civil and human rights of Muslims, Arabs, and South Asians. I am proud to be standing today in solidarity with Mayor Mohamed Khairullah, who has been wrongfully excluded from attending the Eid celebration at the White House this weekend. Sadly, such discrimination is what many Muslim Americans have come to expect from a government that has been systematically targeting them in a racialized counterterrorism apparatus, including Kafkaesque watch lists. People are not given any notice as to why they are on the list, much less an opportunity to challenge the basis for which they are on these watch lists. For the past 20 years, the U.S. government has created a behemoth intelligence apparatus that is eviscerating the civil rights and liberties of all Americans. Local and state law enforcement is deputized to serve as the thought police, reporting suspicious activity based on hunches and bias, not articulable facts demonstrating criminal wrongdoing. And for decades, lawyers and civil liberties advocates have been calling on the government for systematic reform of the watch lists to no avail. As shown in the groundbreaking report by the Center for Security, Race and Rights called Shining a Light on New Jersey's Secret Intelligence Apparatus, communities of color are most disproportionately harmed. Whether it is broken windows policing in low-income African American communities or casting a wide net of suspicion on Muslims, including the esteemed Mayor Mohamed Khairullah, through inaccurate and erroneous watch lists, real people suffer the indignities of second-class citizenship status. Our nation is one of immigrants from all over the world, including Muslim-majority countries in the Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia. Indeed, New Jersey is the home to the largest percentage of Muslims as a percentage of the state population, making them the second largest religious minority faith in the state. So if we want to live up to our ideals of racial equality, religious pluralism, and social justice, then we must demand accountability from our government. An important step toward that end is for the Biden administration to issue an apology to Mayor Mohamed Khairullah and take Islamophobia more seriously through concrete policies, not mere lofty rhetoric. Our nation is stronger when we embrace our diversity and practice inclusion in all aspects of our society. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor. I think it's also, again, worth reiterating that, again, this list, was not born during the Biden administration, nor was it just born out of the Trump administration. But in fact, it's a post 9/11 tool that came about in 2003 and has since then continued to grow and continues to harm many American Muslims. And this is an opportunity for the Biden administration to disband it once and for all. So I would like to now bring up Serge Demifak, the coordinator for End Detention and Deportation Project, American Friends Service Committee in Newark.
My name is Serge Demifak. I'm currently the Black Immigrant Justice Project Coordinator. So my title has changed.
Okay, all right.
But it's all for the better.
Okay.
To be more targeted
There you go.
about what our community feel as need. AFAC is a 117-year-old organization. So we've been fighting for peace, been fighting for justice, and ending inequalities in the United States and abroad for that long. And we've come across several cases because we represent a lot of immigrant communities in New Jersey. We have about 30 laws on staff. And we've seen time and time again, even in the course of our work, that we come across these issues. If you have an immigration case, and if you happen to appear in any list, you can forget about it. I've come across a document about 8 years ago where the police of New York and the police of Newark were concurrently targeting and listing all Muslim organizations throughout the Newark metropolitan area. It is well documented. It's not just about maintaining that list from the federal government. It is about our local policing. It's about discrimination, targeting people because of who they are, their beliefs, and where they come from. And American Friends stands here to say we want to be with the mayor, we want to be with CAIR, and all our partners here to say no to discrimination, no to injustices. We want a fair treatment of all people in New Jersey and across the world. It's not just America, across the world, because our minority groups are targeted throughout the world. I want to quickly read a prepared statement that we put together, American Friends, with the support of our regional director, who wanted me to come here and deliver this speech. So as AFAC and as supporters of immigrant rights, we are deeply concerned about the recent decision to rescind the invitation to the White House Eid celebration of Mayor Khairullah of Prospect Park, the great city of Prospect Park. And we know that you've been there for a while. And New Jersey is looking up for you. And like Amy said, if they come against you, it means they can do that to anybody here. You have the support of people who elected you in office. There's no doubt about who you are, because your life is public knowledge. Your life is public knowledge. And we need to recognize that. That when the people give you the unction, the power to lead, it means that they trust you, and they've been doing so for more than 17 years. And I think that speaks for itself. We hear about all the leaders calling you. It is proof of your leadership in this great city. So this decision is not only unfair, but it also continues to perpetuate a pattern of injustice against the Muslim community that was exacerbated after 9/11. Because that's when everything started, when the Patriot Act was enacted by this country. If you go back and read the Patriot Act, you will see the seed of injustice through our minority communities. So, denying him the opportunity to participate in the event is not only discriminatory, but it also sends a message that the contribution of and accomplishment of our Muslim community members are not valued. This decision also sends a dangerous precedent for the treatment of immigrants and religious minorities in our country. It reinforces a harmful narrative for the mayor, constituents, and the community that support his work. And I also want to say to Professor Aziz that your report was well received by American Friends. We spent a lot of time sharing that report because it is another damning evidence of how current the challenge of reforming the justice system and the nagging policing apparatus that destroy our community, that we spend our lives time and time again trying to rebuild. So thank you very much, and thank you for all to show up.
Thank you, Serge. Okay, we have two more speakers, but before we get to them, I want to share this with everyone. So you all should have a copy of this. This is from the Select E watch list, and what you see here is a redacted list with the mayor's name being left and his birthday. It shows that he is on a list with over 1 million people. I think he's entry number 10 million. No, sorry, not 10. Sorry, no, I don't know. There's a lot of numbers here. Yeah, actually. Well, Selectee watch list. Selectee watch list. Yeah. It does say 10 million. It does say 10 million. Yeah. So.
That's a special number.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that refers to, but it's entry number 10. So we distributed this to everyone to show again that he is featured on the list. CAIR National has access to the list. As mentioned earlier, they review the list through a third party. As many of us know, they cannot distribute the list, but they are willing to screen share. So if you're interested in seeing it for yourself, they can do that. But we printed it out for everyone's convenience. So I want to now bring up another partner, Charlene Walker, Executive Director of Faith in New Jersey. Thank you, Charlene, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is Charlene Walker. I'm the Executive Director of Faith in New Jersey. Faith in New Jersey is a statewide power-building organization for faith communities and believers in justice to build a beloved community, one of hope, opportunity, justice, and love. We are also part of the National Faith in Action Network, as well as Live Free. I am here to stand in solidarity with CAIR New Jersey, which is an amazing organization that really fights for the civil rights of Muslims across New Jersey and beyond. As I stand in one of the most diverse states in the country, we are 50% global majority, believe it or not. As we stand in solidarity with CAIR and the mayor, Khairullah, and Muslims facing profiling across New Jersey and beyond. See, I believe in a U.S. where this experiment called democracy actually works. I believe in a U.S. where the government takes seriously its responsibility to actually care for one another and care for those that are in their midst. Even though I am reminded time and time again that this U.S. that we live in values profiling people based off of race, whether you are Arab, Muslim, Black, or even a community organizer, you will end up profiled. All while looking away when there are white males who decide that they don't fit this suggested profile, which is both racist, xenophobic, and Islamic profiling that espouse hate and a complete disregard for life and our democracy. So much so that they even give tours of our Capitol and later on for them to engage in a coup. All while those targeted by watch lists have their lives thrown in complete and total disarray and are dehumanized by those that enforce it. Clearly, profiling that leads to a secretive list is not there to do anything but to harm God's beloved. See, the profiling of God's beloved must end. As people of faith, we stand against all systems grounded in white supremacy. We call for the uprooting of all systems that deny U.S. residents any form of process and relegate them to second-class citizens, because that is exactly what this list does. The government has a responsibility to care for us, but that can't happen while they continue to prop up systems of oppression like this list. So I believe God in this moment is actually calling us forward to build an America that does not distrust us and lean on oppressive systems like this list, but one that's actually about acceptance and belonging. So I call for the end of this watch list and all systems that dehumanize all of us.
Thank you so much, Shirley. I want to really say thank you and extend my gratitude and appreciation to all of our partners and our advocates and allies across the state of New Jersey. for coming out at such short notice to stand with the mayor and our chapter to call an end to the use of the watch list. At this point, it has been made very clear that CAIR and the Muslim community has been calling the watch list unconstitutional, and it is time that it is disbanded and not used by any agency moving forward. To wrap us up, I want to invite up to the podium Medina, our Communications Affairs Manager at CAIR New Jersey, to offer some final remarks.
Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Medina, M-A-D-I-N-A, Ouedraogo, O-U-E-D-R-A-O-G-O, and I am the Government Affairs Manager here at CAIR New Jersey. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, CAIR New Jersey team members, our beloved Mayor T. Khairullah, coalition partners, community members, friends, and press. It is with immense sadness that we're here today. As you know, earlier yesterday, CAIR New Jersey condemned the United States Secret Service perceived profiling of our longest-serving Muslim mayor, Mayor Khairullah, of the borough of Prospect Park, and the revocation of his Eid celebration invitation to the White House. It is worth noting that Mayor Khairullah was the one who actually helped the New Jersey Democratic Party compile names of the local Muslim leaders to invite and ultimately attend that same celebration in which he was disinvited to. CAIR National, along with CAIR New Jersey, continues to call on New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, who is a member of the United States Judiciary Committee, to utilize his platform and position to highlight the issues of unconstitutional and discriminatory watch listing evidenced by various incidents, one of which being the recent incidents involving our beloved mayor. CAIR New Jersey looks forward to attending the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations 8th Annual Muslim Advocacy Day on Capitol Hill, which is taking place on Monday, June 12th to Tuesday, June 13th in Washington, D.C., where Muslim advocates and activists, as well as representatives for national, state, local Muslim organizations and communities, will meet with members of Congress and their staff to discuss the most pressing issues impacting American Muslims in today's political climate. Among the issues that CAIR New Jersey and the USCMO delegates will be advocating for include watch list reforms. Very ironic, I might say. CAIR New Jersey's national forthcoming Civil Rights Department report on the watch list will add much needed insight to the ongoing conversation surrounding these incidents. Enough is enough. Mayor Khairullah is a well-respected, well-known, and very beloved elected official within this community. He is also New Jersey's longest-serving Muslim mayor, who was sworn into his 5th consecutive mayoral term just this January. CAIR New Jersey strongly condemns the treatment of Mayor Khairullah and stand in support with him in calling for the following from the Biden administration. 1, public apology to the mayor and that he be re-invited to the White House. 2, for President Biden to meet with members of the Muslim community to discuss tangible harms that the watch list have caused and continue to cause. And 3, to disband these illegal and harmful watch lists. Accountability is the first step in many to rectify this degrading and humiliating experience. Once again, we want to thank our community members, allies, coalition partners, who include the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice, the New Jersey Muslim Lawyers Association, the Center for Security, Race, and Rights, the American Friends Service Committee, Faith in New Jersey, as well as Justice for All, for being here today, being in support, being in solidarity. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much.